Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and everybody else who is hanging out at home. Here, Dave is losing his mind over there. Why are you? What's going on, Dave?
Because for those who are watching the video version live and appreciate you following us, you were coming to the pre-show music.
Oh, yeah.
It gives me a couple of seconds to kind of finalize our banners and as we're getting in place. I know maybe it's a little cheesy, but I like it. So.
I like it. I think it's catchy and fun. In any event, it is Eat Sleep Podcast. Repeat FM 99 of the Fox's first and only wrestling podcast, the number one wrestling podcast on both of those sites since 2017. It's also the only one, but we don't talk about that part. We are a podcast that does in-depth reviews and previews of shows. We talk to different wrestlers. We've spoken with people like Drew McIntyre, the current WWE champion. We've spoken with Chris Jericho, the the first champion in AEW. We've spoken with Mick Foley. We've spoken with Natalia. We've spoken with Big E. We've spoken with tons of people. And those are all in our archives, which you can find if you go to the media tab under FM99.com and 1069thefox.com, and you can find our media tab, links to our most recent episodes in our RSS feed, which has all of our episodes. And those are also available on all your major podcasting apps. Just search ESPR Wrestling, and that helps you find it anywhere you listen to podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating and a review and subscribe, please. We appreciate it greatly. It helps us get in front of more eyes. And if you want to interact with us, make sure you do. Facebook.com/ESPR99 and on the Twitter @ESPR99, or you can email us, ESPR@FM99.com. And please, if you're watching along live, we are going to be reviewing Payback tonight. We want to know your thoughts on it. So please let us know what you enjoyed about the show, what you didn't enjoy about the show. What was your favorite color outfit? I don't know. Whatever you thought of the show, we want to hear from you. And I guess without further ado, let's do it. We got to do a Payback review this week, or right now, so that on Friday we can do an all-out preview.
Whew, it is a busy time for wrestling when nothing is going on. So there you go. So we had one pre-match show, by the way, which they dropped on us over the weekend.
Pre-match show?
Pre-show.
Yeah, trust me, I know how it feels. Yes, we had one pre-show match, the Riot Squad, Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan versus the Iconics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. I watched it. Not the prettiest of matches, but it was fine. Told the story they wanted to tell with the Riot Squad. I thought the storytelling was really good in this match. I thought the part where Ruby Riott was in the ring for a very long time, where they knock off Liv Morgan off the apron, and then the Iconics are like, oh, Ruby did that. All trying to tease this dissension in the match, and then they teased Liv walking away, but she came back, and they prevail. Right, exactly. Fun match. Again, you got the story you wanted to across to the Riot Squad, and now it looks like we have another definitive tag team in the women's tag team division, which I still think is a waste of both of those women, because I think you could be doing more with them as singles wrestlers, but apparently you had no plans for that, so might as well make good use of them as a tag team. Yeah,
it's frustrating because when Liv came back, I was excited. I'm going to give you credit because I disagreed when she came back. I thought like, oh, this is going to be great. This whole angle with Lashley, Lana, and Rusev, and
that went a fat lot of nowhere. Is where that went. But again, I like everybody involved. I like when Dave says I'm right, and it was fine for a pre-show match. It was what it was.
Yeah. Don't make that a drinking game because you're going to be thirsty. So hey,
that's just because Dave doesn't want to admit it.
No. Show opens, and we get Apollo Crews, Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship.
It was a good match. Bobby Lashley looked pretty dominant. Apollo had his moments, but it never really seemed like he was in danger of beating Bobby Lashley. I was really excited when he called for the military press on Lashley. I was like, oh, do it, please. But it didn't happen. That
was great.
Yeah. I was bummed when Lashley got out of it.
He's got a new finisher. Yeah, because I thought we were going to see like a new finish with that. And that's happened. Not a bad match. I thought Apollo looked fine. But Bobby with the definitive finish, which, by the way, you never see a full Nelson go to the ground like that.
No, I like that.
Talking about making that effective, whoever came up with that, brilliant, because I'm getting out of that.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, that was good. Hey,
again,
by the way,
good match.
here's a name we haven't seen in a long time. Look at this, Jeffrey Dietz.
Hey, Jeffrey, we haven't seen you in a while, man.
Yeah. Speaking of tag teams, our what Katrina want to know is Lana and Natalia supposed to be a team now.
Who knows? They kind of seem like by default they kind of are, but they're just I don't know. They're doing a rehash of the Michelle McCool, Layla Mean Girls thing. It feels like, and I'm not here for it. This ain't it, kid.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the role that Natalia needs, but
it's not.
Somebody else they don't have plans with. But maybe you know what? If they feud with the right squad, then that's fine.
I feel like Lana could do that role.
Yeah,
Natalia, meh.
Yeah, she can't wrestle. Another match, and I think this one was announced later after we did our show.
Yes.
Was that Big E versus Sheamus.
Good match. Good match. Both guys really hard hitting, which I appreciated. Big E looks fired up.
Yeah.
And gets a decisive win, which I really that was something I'd like to point out that happened a lot throughout the evening was decisive wins.
Yes.
And I really appreciated that.
You know, that, and I thought that, and I don't know, maybe because it's the Thunderdome, but everybody seemed more motivated.
Yeah.
It just seemed like it wasn't like it wasn't a Saudi show. It wasn't like a paint by numbers. It just seemed like the effort was there. And Sheamus, like, I think since he's been back, this is definitely his best match. He made some all right matches against Hardy, but this just was hard hitting, and maybe just the style of Big E just melded really well together, which I'm happy for Big E because now he's getting the win, decisive win. But but that ship is going up.
I love Big E. I've been saying good things about him for years. I interviewed him long before I even started working on the radio station, and I've known ever since then that he was a star on the rise. He had everything he needed to be a star. And I love that after the match, you saw the intensity. He goes over to Corey Graves and he was like, I'm ready. Tell the people. You need to tell the people what you see. But and he was determined. He was focused. I loved it. I also love, by the way, every time he comes out, it's just a little thing he does that makes me laugh. He always throws something at Corey Graves, and that makes me laugh every time. It used to be the pancakes. Last night it was his jacket. It was,
Do you see? And Corey, I thought made a really good point. Corey Graves about at some point, Big E needs to differentiate himself from the New Day. The girl differently because that was always a complaint about Roman Reigns was that like, well, he still looks like he's the guy that was in the Shield. Like Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose evolved. I mean, maybe
I'd say no. I'd say no. Kofi didn't need to differentiate himself from the New Day. He was still as much a part of the New Day as he ever was, and he got over huge and got his big WrestleMania moment and everything. I don't think he needs to differentiate himself from the New Day. I think that's what's special about the New Day is that the New Day feels like an act where they can be a very much an integral part of it and still feel like a part of the act, but that doesn't make you think of them any less as individual wrestlers, which we didn't know until Kofi did it. I wasn't sure at the time. I thought Kofi needed to go a little more serious. He needed to kind of break out himself a little bit from the New Day. No, it worked fine without him breaking out from the New Day. And I think the same can be said for Big E. And especially, I honestly think that the other guys being away is kind of his breakout thing because right now it is just it is just Big E. So there's nobody really for him to stand there with and look like it's part of a uniform or something like that.
Yeah, well, Xavier Woods is back on Talking Smack, by the way.
He's on Talking Smack, yeah, but he's not back out on the ring with Big E every week. But I feel like if Big E gets that big moment and then Kofi and Xavier are there for him, I think it'll just make people even more excited.
Yeah, I'm hoping. And I'm happy that they brought up his previous run as champion, as Intercontinental champion, because it's like, okay, we didn't forget about that history.
But I also appreciate they brought up that it wasn't anything special because it wasn't.
Yes. No, because at the time people they wanted to like him, but something was missing. That was after he broke away from Dolph Ziggler and everything else. Anyway, Jeffrey Petrine writes, what are the rest of the members of the New Day? Kofi's hurt.
Well, technically they're both hurt.
and Xavier Woods has been injured for a very long time.
He's been out the better part of a year at this point because he ruptured his Achilles tendon, which is a horrible injury. And Kofi just got injured within like the last 2 months or something like that.
Yeah. That tag match where they lost the tables match is where they've written him off. The Jeffrey says, speaking of Talking Smack and Big E, you got the realest promo ever on the show the other day. So we're going to
they highlighted that a few times during the Payback show. It was very good. And he talked about how he doesn't. It's kind of what we were saying. He doesn't need to be. He doesn't need to be more serious. He doesn't need to be. He doesn't need to change how he is, because they haven't done that the whole time with the New Day. And he's like, the New Day never should have worked, but we persevered and it did work. And he was like, and I'm not going to change that. He goes, I'm not going to be stoic for the sake of being stoic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's over 5 years now of New Day, which is just incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. The next match, which I was fine with, it was not a boring Corbin match. Matt Riddle versus King Corbin.
No, it was high energy. Again, high energy and hard hitting.
Yeah.
Riddle's style is hard hitting, so you're going to get that in a Matt Riddle match regardless. But it was nice to see Corbin kind of match that a little bit. It might have been one of Corbin's best matches since he became King Corbin.
I agree with you on that one. It was good, and maybe it was one of those not teaching moments because he's kind of the veteran now. I mean, it seems that way, but maybe on the bigger stage with Matt Riddle, and if he was directing that match, he did a great job with that. And I love the fact that move where he slides out of the ring and runs back in, and connecting the first time and then getting caught the second time, and it was just, and then Riddle, but definitive win, another definitive win with the what did he call it? The bro to sleep. And then the I can't remember what the other move was, but the I can't remember what it's called, but I can't remember what it was called, but he looked really good. Another definitive win again. It was a night full of really definitive, clean wins, which I appreciated. Yeah, which by the way, so for the CM Punk wherever he's at, does this not that he's going to come back now to start a rumor, but is this something that you're taking my moves?
No, he's like the third or fourth person to do it since he left. So no.
Yeah, I know, but now he's there. I just.
I mean,
but is this feud over?
What feud, Matt? Oh God, no, because Corbin attacked him backstage.
Oh, that's right.
So of course it's not over. And also, look, they had a weird promo beforehand where they were talking to Riddle, where they were telling him what Corbin said before them, before they went out there for the match.
Yeah.
And Corbin says this, Corbin says that, and then he makes a comment about having failed in his personal life or something like that. He makes some comment about that, and Riddle gets really angry and just walks away. He doesn't say anything. And it seemed like kind of a veiled reference to the speaking out the allegations against Matt Riddle. Because I don't know what else they could be referencing because they haven't set anything else up. And no. I'm gonna say one or two things here. If they set something else up, fine, but I still think it was a little tasteless. And if it was meant to poke to kind of reference that, then shame on whoever wrote that line because that's disgusting.
That's in poor taste to go that way because you can't bring up something that you're going to tick off somebody else and draw attention to it that you may not want to draw right now because some people may have forgotten about that this happened. Yeah. You're like, oh, what are we talking about?
Yep.
In this. By the way, a good point from Jeffrey. I was hoping they would do more with Chad Gable going after the King's ransom, given the fact he's trying to take Orton to the whole King feud with first place.
They might. On SmackDown before Payback, they were really hyping up that he's kind of going through an identity crisis right now. That was something that they referenced once or twice. They seem to make that a point of saying. So I feel like maybe he is going to kind of ditch the Shorty G gimmick and maybe get back to being Chad Gable.
Please do.
Which would be amazing.
Yeah, I'll take that. Another match. This surprised me. For the Women's Tag Team Championship, Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax.
I never, ever, 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 ever look forward to a Nia Jax match, but color me surprised. This was really fun to watch. Bayley and Sasha Banks, were great as always. They're good. They're really good performers. Shayna looked like a badass. Nia looked like a badass. That part where she caught Sasha coming off the rope or off the ring, and she's on the outside, and she catches her powerbomb style, and then just swings her back and forth into the barricade. That looked great. But it also looked safe. It didn't look, I remember her doing that the first time, and it looked really unsafe how she whipped that lady around. But it looked a lot safer this time, but it still looked good. Shayna looked like a monster, but Bayley and Sasha believably had them in trouble once or twiise.
I thought they did a good job with that. Where you think, oh, they're going to retain. They didn't show any issues of any.
Not till the very end.
Yeah. But
which they set up nicely. I liked. The finish was creative, and I really enjoyed it because Shayna's got Sasha set up for it's an Indian Deathlock or whatever they call it.
With the leg. And then,
I feel like they're gonna have to change the name of that hold. In today's world, we're changing the football team names and whatnot, Washington football team and whatnot. And I feel like you might have. I think you just call it a deathlock.
Yeah, and STF isn't it like a reverse STF.
Yeah, I think the specific name of it is the Indian deathlock. I think is what they call it. But I think you're going to have to start calling it just a deathlock or STF deathlock or something. Something along those lines to get away from that name, which I'm fine with. But I agree with you. It's like a reverse STF or an inverted STF, whatever you call it.
The only thing, looking logic wise, is that Sasha is the illegal person in the ring, and there's no reprimand to get her out because Shayna's got her one hold.
We were at that point in the match where things started falling apart. I mean, that always happens in these tag matches. I mean, we always get these moments where the ref just loses control. It happens all the time. But I appreciate. No, because when they were tagging, they still made sure they used the rope. Shayna at one point, I was really pleased. She reached out for a tag on Nia, but there was an angle where you could see her still holding on to the rope, and she's reaching for the tag to hit her on the back when she went by. And I was like, I appreciate that Shayna took the extra step of holding on to the rope to make sure that it was a legal tag, and like we'd see that if you had a view of it. But again, I thought everybody worked well in the match. They believably told a good story between everybody. The finish was great with the deathlock, and then Bayley comes in and gets caught in the choke. Yeah. Then she manages to catch Sasha's arm and use it to choke out Bayley, which is the best. I made a meme that is not family friendly, but it was, have you ever been so mad? It's a picture of that moment, and it says, have you ever been so mad that you choked an MFer with another MFer? And but it was a great moment. Sasha or Shayna came out of it looking like a stud.
Yeah, which they needed that.
She needed that big time, but she came out of it looking great. And I will say this though, afterwards, the in-ring promo of like winning, Shayna had virtually nothing to say except let's go celebrate. And Nia, I don't know if this is by design, if they told her to really ham it up, or if that's just Nia. If that's just Nia, I couldn't spend more than 5 minutes around her. Because, that was annoying.
But maybe that's why they want to make her annoying, which between us, by the way, how did Shayna and Nia end up becoming tag team partners? Feuding and the kind of thrown together, almost like a bar situation.
See, it kills me because it was a good match, but this was remember I told you ahead of time I was hoping that we'd get some more dissension between Bayley and Sasha that would lead to the loss, which we didn't. So you had two singles wrestlers who were used to tagging at all, let alone with each other, beat the established tag team.
And a really good team,
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it was performed really well, but it just I didn't love that part, but the match was laid out so well that I overlooked it.
Yeah, Jeffrey adds, I feel like they're having Shayna and Nia work together because if Nia screws anything up the match, so Shayna will kill her. You might not be wrong. There might be a little bit of the shooter in there that they're like, they might tell her, hey, straighten this out. But maybe it sets up the eventual feud down the road because they're going to be tough
for sure.
With that. So, but not a bad match on a pretty good streak.
No.
And then we go to Keith Lee versus Randy Orton.
Fun match, which I'm going to be perfectly honest. If you're looking at it, Keith Lee dominated most of that match. This was about as close to a squash match as you could get without it being a squash match because Orton got some offense in.
Yeah,
but I never really thought Orton was in danger of winning. But I also, in the back of my mind, I'm going to any second he's going to hit an RKO and this is going to be over. It's going to be, it's any moment. Even though we both said going into this, like Keith Lee can't lose isn't his second match.
Well, they did a big setup backstage with JBL, and just to kind of, I don't know what was going on there, but just to kind of make him like, hey, you're going to be a star, kind of thing, kind of like almost like
just the idea the pressure's on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's like, hey, you do this, you're going to become a big man, kind of thing. But I got to felt with that.
I thought it was well done. The match was laid out well. Keith Lee looked like a beast. He looked like a main eventer in there with Randy Orton. And the counter of the RKO tossed him up into that spirit bomb. And Orton, by the way, Orton sold for Keith Lee beautifully in this match.
Yeah,
and he ate that spirit bomb. I haven't seen Orton take a legitimate power bomb like that in a long time. So
because usually he doesn't get overpowered like this.
Yeah,
and he did. I mean, hats off to Orton.
He made Keith Lee's great. Don't get me wrong, but he made Keith Lee look great as well. And a clean finish. I loved it.
in a very motivated. Well, everybody's motivated pretty much. Every star, and I thought Orton was just like, it's like whatever I can do to make this guy look good, I'm going to do it, and he did that.
Right.
That's
Raw
that's
coming
what
on
I
a little.
love with these
Raw coming on in a little while, we might see some kind of payback for that because I'm sure Orton's, his storyline, he's gonna be furious about it.
Yeah. But
So we'll see what happens.
Win for Keith Lee. Better outfit, by the way. Better ring attire.
Better outfit because they let him keep the normal trunks he's used to wrestling in. He still had to wear the dumb shirt, but at least he got to keep the normal trunks. You have to wear the trunks that were baggy for Keith Lee, which is ridiculous because he's a big dude. Like they were baggy on him. It was ridiculous, but I mean, yeah, I liked it better on there. I can get used to the shirt if they let him keep the normal tights.
Which, by the way, how loud were those chops?
Oh God, so loud. Loved it though.
Maybe with the shirt, maybe he wasn't feeling it, but it's.
Oh, I bet you he was still hearing it or still feeling it. So
yeah, Jeffrey adds, even though Keith definitely needed to win the match, how does Keith lose a world title match and then beat a 13-time world champion a week later?
Hey man, any given day. You know what they say in wrestling, any given Sunday. It's only associated with wrestling, no other sport. I will say though, but they've kind of portrayed Karrion Kross as this like almost like above human type character. Like he's ridiculous. So the idea being that he lost to Karrion Kross, but I think the idea being that if Karrion Kross is in there with Randy Orton, he'd have crushed Randy Orton as well. Not to mention you've got Randy Orton, who the story there being that Keith Lee has been able to watch Randy Orton his whole life. Randy Orton has not watched Keith Lee his whole life. So I mean, there's that element of surprise. There's that, you know what I mean?
Who was that? That was like, a good big man can always beat a good little man, or maybe I'm getting that like wrong.
I don't know. No, I think you're right. I think that was said, but I don't remember who said it.
Yeah. So there's that, and then the next match. Okay, this was better than I thought it was going to be.
I don't know why you didn't think it was going to be good. It's the Mysterio. It's Dominic who proved himself to be able to be capable, and Rey Mysterio, who's a legend, with Seth Rollins, who is the modern day kind of standard bearer, and then Murphy, who we've seen time and time again as an underrated guy.
I think because of all the matches leading up to this, not kind of the SummerSlam match where they had the tag match on Raw on Monday. I was just like, all right, we'll just get through this. We'll be done with it. But this match delivered better than I thought it was going to.
Oh, it was really, really good. And I mean, not a lot to go into here. It was what it was. It was the Mysterios kind of, one of them would get isolated for a while. And then really it comes to the end where Murphy ends up kind of costing them the match. Because Seth Rollins says, kick him in the head while he's holding Ray and, or Dominic. Which one was he holding? I don't remember. But either way, Murphy goes for the kick, misses and hits Seth Rollins. And then Murphy gets pinned by Dominic.
And then they get the stare down afterwards from Seth, kind of staring down Buddy for.
Well, then he leaves without Buddy, and I mean, so it's like, the idea being that you'd said that maybe the Buddy face turn, and I'm like, that would be silly at this point because why? Because Buddy didn't do anything to make us root for him, so I wouldn't really cheer him. If Seth starts treating him badly and Murphy starts getting more and more fed up with it and then eventually stands up to Seth, that's where I think the face turn would make more sense.
Well, I don't think it's an immediate turn. I think maybe tonight, because as we know, Seth is fighting Rey Mysterio tonight. So maybe Buddy screws that up because,
it's possible. Also, by the way, man, I'm bummed out because we talked about how, remember Austin Theory and everything, and we missed him as being part of the act, and then literally that week he shows up on NXT.
Yeah, back in NXT, I forget who he attacked, but yeah, he was.
I didn't think he attacked anybody. He was talking to who was he talking to? He's talking to somebody backstage. Bronson Reed, and Bronson Reed slapped a taste out his mouth. So we'll see where that goes from there. But so he gone from WWE for now. I think people want to get behind Buddy because I think they see a future there. Yeah, much better than last year when it was like with Roman Reigns getting hit or whatever. They said, it's Buddy Murphy, and Buddy took the fall. But Kevin Owens, when he beat Buddy Murphy, I forget what event it was, and then Kevin said, "You need to go out on your own." Yeah, kind of planting that seed a couple of months. It was at the end of the match, so. He's been great. I mean, obviously working with Rollins has been really good for him. But yeah, they need to do it right, not just turn for the sake of it. But I really see that happen. But a very entertaining match.
Yeah, Seth needs more followers. Does he?
Yes and no, because apparently whenever you become one of Seth's followers, with the exception of Buddy Murphy, something happens to you because the AOP can't not be injured. And Austin Theory, it's rumored that he had COVID, and that's why he was gone for a while. So it's like at a certain point, do I want to be with Seth Rollins? Because only Seth and Buddy are okay at this point.
I think you want to give him like a stable. Because
but then that's the thing. He had a stable. He had Buddy. He had the AOP, and then he added Austin Theory. And it's like if he still had all those people, it would be quite the stable.
Yeah.
But the AOP, the AOP being out is why we missed out on some other stuff. The AOP was supposed to feud with the Viking Raiders, and so we ended up not getting that feud. And so the Viking Raiders got stuck on a dumb feud with kind of back and forth with Seth Rollins, and then with the Street Profits that went nowhere. So that was a waste of everybody's time.
Yeah, giant turkey leg somewhere.
Oh my God! Let's just forget it.
I need to get that instead of the flag. Yeah, that's been different point. Oh, by the way, Jeffrey says, I agree. I think Austin Murphy should try and replace him as a Messiah, since Seth is probably going to take some time off when Becky has the baby.
Oh, he's definitely going to take some time off. But I think what will end up happening is they'll probably time his turning on Seth for that time, and it'll lead up to a big match between them, and Buddy will get the win, and then Seth will be off TV for a while after that.
Yeah. So something's going to happen. If it's not Buddy, somebody's going to take Seth off of TV.
Yeah,
which he's due in December. So maybe it's Survivor Series around that time, or
something like that.
Right to that window and stuff. Hard to believe it. That's all the matches on the card except for one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you mean the the main event of the evening? I wish I had like echo effect on here or something. I don't think I do. This doesn't do anything for you, does it? Does this do anything for you? No. I was just checking. I was turning my FX little thing here and see if it did anything.
Darn it! You can walk into the bathroom or hallway or stairwell.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that.
Thank you. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, defending his title against Braun Strowman and eventually Roman Reigns, and they no-hold-barred match for the Universal Championship.
It was a thing. It happened. You're not wrong. I didn't dislike the match itself. I thought Fiend and Strowman, who started the match out, it was a really intense brawl between them. They kept it going. The energy was there, and but the problem with it was you just kept going. All right, and when's Roman coming out? And when's Roman coming out? Now I didn't have a problem with it. Because it's pretty much exactly what I thought he would end up doing in that regard. It was the least work possible.
When he didn't come out at the beginning, it's like, okay, well, he's going to come out when it's convenient.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
And obviously it was convenient. Hey, by the way, hats off to Charles Robinson, Little Nate, for the
doing a damn backflip out of the ring.
Yeah. Selling out like a champ.
By the way, they've got to stop going back to that well on the ring exploding on these superplexes. Like at this point, it's too much.
Yeah,
when it happened, it felt a little hokey. Even going through the ring feels less hokey than the ring collapsing at this point.
Yeah. It's just and it's always it's the big guy, and it's a tired spot.
I get it, but that's the problem. Is it's a tired spot. We don't go that often without seeing it anymore. It's every couple of years they dust it off and throw it back out there. Didn't it happen with Braun Strowman and like Big Show or Braun Strowman or somebody like that too?
Yeah. Braun Strowman, Big Show.
It wasn't that long ago.
Mark Henry, Big Show. I think it happened like 5 times now. There's probably something
YouTube like that. Yeah.
Of all the ring explosions, but best selling job by the ref ever with any of those.
Oh, it was fantastic. And then then Reigns' music hits. Heyman comes out next to him with the contract. He signs it, walks the ring with a chair. It really in short order lays waste to the two guys, pins Braun Strowman, and gets the title, which I fully expected to happen. This is the Roman Reigns heel turn. If you're not convinced he's heel, you need to be convinced, because this was the heel turn. And for everybody who's been crying forever for Roman to be heel, he'd better be your favorite heel in the world now, because I told people that I was like, I think he'd be a great heel. But everybody's saying, oh, he needs to turn heel from like day 2 of his run. the majority of them are going to crap all over this, and they are going to say, that's stupid what they did. I don't like it that way. Hey, he's heel. It's what you wanted. And the problem is with the IWC is when they give the fans what they want, the IWC then decides they don't want it anymore.
Well, here's what they're going to complain about, Sean. It's not that he's a heel. It's that he won the world championship. He's a champion now. LOL, Reigns wins again. Ha, ha, ha. That's what they're going to complain about because, he's back and now he's a champion.
But here's the thing. If what you hated about him before was that he won all the time, do you think they're going to change that when they want you to hate him? No. He's going to win even more. And he's going to do it in crappier ways because he's a heel, damn it. I don't get this logic of we're going to complain every time something. We chanted for Roman at the Royal Rumble, okay? We chanted, we want Roman. They give you Roman next year. You don't want Roman anymore. It's the second people get what they want, they turn against it.
Well, I think it was the first year because that was the Bautista year. They didn't want Bautista because they knew.
I get that. I get that, but they didn't boo Bautista. They did, but they didn't just boo. They didn't just boo Bautista. But they didn't just boo Bautista. They said, we want Roman. Those are the words they said. And they proceeded to pop for Roman in every Shield thing that he did after that. And it's like, okay, so clearly there's something there with Reigns. So we give you Reigns. And yes, I understand. It got tired. It got worn out. I understand the overexposure thing. I totally get that. But the idea that we went from we want Roman to you can't wrestle is bull. It makes no sense. It's just people being whiny because they don't want what they want.
He was the Superman we didn't want because it was at a time when we wanted Daniel Bryan and we got Bautista.
Right.
And then they want Daniel Bryan's in that Rumble, which was a big.
Oh, yeah. For sure. But here's the thing. But then you got Daniel Bryan. So it's like you didn't not get him and Roman took his place. You got Daniel Bryan and then you got Roman. So like they gave you people you wanted and you whined about it. What kills me is that when they got Daniel Bryan, they stopped being hyped about Daniel Bryan too. It didn't take long for them to stop being really cheering for him.
Because they stuck him with Kane in those ridiculous match with a bulldozer in a Falls Count Anywhere match or whatever.
I understand that. But if you're going to stop supporting the guy because of the bad booking, then you're going to end up stop supporting everybody because everybody will run into bad booking. Everybody. It's going to happen.
Not many people could survive it. Becky did barely because they tried to screw that up really, really bad a year and a half ago with but you can't wrestle because you're hurt and the doctor says whatever.
That was dumb. That was dumb.
Wait, they could put Charlotte in the main event saying, you know what, you weren't officially in that Rumble match, so it's going to be Charlotte versus Ronda. I'm sorry, whatever. But
and again, just saying this isn't who we want is one thing. You know what I mean? But that's not what they do. They crap all over people like Reigns or John Cena and say things like, you can't wrestle. Buddy, You're out of your mind if you think they can't wrestle. It's not your style, and that's fine. You don't like what they're doing, and that's okay. That's acceptable. You're allowed to like or dislike whatever you want. But saying stupid things like you can't wrestle just proves you don't know what you're talking about. No, they absolutely can wrestle.
Because it's a chance. I was at Mania's 23 and 24.
Yeah.
When Cena was at his peak of being Super Cena. And here's the problem: trying to enjoy that match, and we complained about people chanting before.
Oh yeah.
Is that it's the whole let's go Cena sucks thing, and it's just like this guy's randomly just want to starting a chant. It's like I'm trying to watch the gosh darn match. It's like you're taking this out because you want to be that guy that's like, ooh, Cena sucks. Or whatever else. Brandy says, by the way, I don't think so. I think Roman is the workhorse. Brock was not brought back as a full-time performer. Roman, obviously, is going to be full-time because they need the ratings and everything on SmackDown. So,
yeah.
But,
Brandy's 100% right about that.
Yeah. Okay, but here's one other thing. Okay, so you mentioned all this. Seth Rollins.
Oh, yeah, we got to go. We got to hurry up. We're almost out of time.
Yeah, Seth Rollins last year. The whole thing, and then people got on him, and then he changed his character. it just seemed like it took Roman a long time to get to this change.
Oh, without a doubt. It did take him a while to get to this change, without a doubt. But I'm going to be honest, Seth enjoyed quite a long time of being cheered before he finally got to that point of people kind of turning on him, and then we got to, okay, we're going to change character. Roman, they turned on him almost overnight. That was almost instantaneous. When we decided that Roman was the guy and he started getting pushed, we hated him. We booed the crap out of him at that point.
I think it would have been different if Daniel Bryan was never in that Rumble, because that was the night everything changed.
I think you might be right, but here's the thing. Everything that happens in Daniel Bryan's existence doesn't have to do with Roman Reigns. Like, there was a good long time where Daniel Bryan wasn't freaking wrestling and Daniel Bryan was gone, and all of a sudden we're still booing Roman. We're still telling Roman he can't wrestle, which is ridiculous.
But I agree with you in that part. But it all started before WrestleMania 31, which is why they didn't put the title on.
I totally get that. I get that. I understand it. But again, these things all move at a certain pace. You're not we chant we want Roman like right now, like tonight, not happening. You're gonna have to wait because they got to get through some stuff to get to that point. Otherwise, they got to rewrite months of storyline at that point. Now, I understand that Vince likes to write things day of, but they do generally. If you talk to people who work there, they'll tell you that generally speaking, the next WrestleMania, they're already planning for it. Like once they hit a WrestleMania, they've already been planning for the next WrestleMania. They have an idea of who they want in the main event and what they want to try and achieve by that time. Now, the stuff in between is what it is. They'll figure it out as they go sometimes. But they kind of know where they want to go for the next WrestleMania. So when you guys chant, we want Roman, you're not getting him tonight. You're going to get him further down the road when they get to that point. And I understand that he got overexposed in one. I totally get that. That is on the brand for overexposing him. The guy was working hard trying to be the guy for them.
Yeah.
So I get annoyed by that. I already saw people last night whining about, like you said, LOL, Reigns wins. And I'm like, of course he did. He's the bad guy. He's trying to do that.
And now you don't want to watch him see if he loses the title. That's what makes business work.
Yes.
That's
now you're
being the heel champion.
Now you're going to want to tune in to see who beats him finally.
Yeah.
That's what's going to make you want to tune in. And you've got all these guys on the roster that he can feud with on SmackDown. You've got AJ if he decides to go back to face. Daniel Bryan's back. You've got Matt Riddle now. You've got all these guys that he can feud with. And all these potential matchups that I'd be really excited to see. And guess what? They're not all going to beat him.
No, do you think AJ Styles with Paul Heyman being on SmackDown is going to be happy right now? I mean, is that why maybe they dropped the title off him?
Because Heyman's not in control of anything anymore.
No, he's not. But he did blame him for Gallows and Anderson being gone. So
he won't directly say that. The comment from AJ is just that Heyman lied to them. That's all he'll say is that Heyman lied to them, and Heyman knows what he lied about, and we know what he lied about, and that's it. And that's all AJ will say. There's a lot of speculation about the other things the specifics that he lied to them about. But yeah, I think he did reference Gallows and Anderson as not getting much of a shake because of one of those lies. But regardless, no, I don't. AJ is a businessman. AJ will be there and work. He's fine. You know what I mean? And he's not going to have to really deal with Heyman as a businessman. He's just going to have to deal with him as a performer. And so Heyman has no control over what is happening to AJ at this point.
I mean, if they make AJ face, and I can see it right now, that could be some good matches. You know, maybe wait a little bit. Let's not get there because they got to wrap up the Fiend and the Braun stuff. Whatever's happened to Braun.
I think I don't know what's going to happen there. I don't think we're going to go. I maybe you do it one more time, but I don't think it drags out very far. I think we move on to something else at some point. I mean, we already saw the Alexa Bliss hints with the Fiend at Payback when she was watching backstage and everything, and clearly very into what the Fiend was what she was seeing. So that'll go somewhere. So.
Which, by the way, Claudia to handle it like that, and not the other way, with having her come out.
Yeah, agreed. So, all right. So Payback, I thought it was a good show. Was it as good as SummerSlam? Yeah. No, but it was still a good show. Lots of strong booking decisions, which I really appreciated. So, I mean, if I had to, probably 7 out of 10.
I'm going to go a little bit higher now. I'm going to put it. I would watch this show over SummerSlam. So I'm going to go 8.5.
Oh, we are ridiculous. So in any event, so it was a good show. I recommend if you didn't see it, you should see it. If you only watch a couple of things on it, watch the women's title match, watch Big E and Sheamus, I would recommend.
Yeah, and Keith Lee and Orton was pretty short.
Keith Lee and Orton was good. Yeah, Keith Lee and Orton was good. So I'd watch that one.
Yeah, in the main
But
event, but fast forward to 6 minutes in.
Right, pretty much. In any event, that's going to do it for this episode. We're going to be back later in the week doing a preview. We'll talk about stuff that happened during this week, and we'll preview All Out coming up for AEW because not like we have enough things to talk about.
No.
And in the meantime, remember you can find us on FM99.com and 1069thefox.com right under the media tab. And if you want to find us in your podcasting apps, if you haven't already, go ahead and search for us on all your podcasting apps. All you got to do is search for ESPR Wrestling. Go ahead and subscribe. Give us a 5-star rating and a review. It is that easy. And make sure you stay in touch with us. Facebook.com. Why are you waving your hand?
5. The 5 stars.
Oh, yes. Give us a 5-star rating and a review. It's weird to just see you holding up a hand to the camera, though. Yeah, find us on Facebook, facebook.com/ESPR99, and on the Twitter at ESPR99, and email us ESPR@FM99.com. As always, we love hearing from you guys, so please keep in touch. And thank you for everybody who joined in tonight. Remember to set your notifications to on your social media so you can be a part of the next episode, probably on Friday after SmackDown. So make sure you guys are ready for that. We will be back. And until that time, remember to eat, sleep, podcast, and
repeat. Get in, everybody.
Get out.